right, let's talk about two words we use all the time, respect and submission. We kind of think we know what they mean, right? But what if I told you that our whole understanding of them might be completely backward? And what if that misunderstanding is actually the hidden source of so much conflict in our lives? It's a big idea, so let's dive in and see where it takes us. I mean, think about it. Why is there so much conflict everywhere? You see it in our relationships, in politics, all over the world. It really feels like we're just stuck in this constant loop of disagreement and strife. Well, the material we're digging into today offers a pretty wild suggestion that the real root of the problem isn't what we think it is. It might actually boil down to how we misuse just two simple, everyday words. Okay, so this is basically the unwritten rule book that most of us live by whether we realize it or not. It seems, well, logical, doesn't it? We give respect to our equals, our colleagues, our peers, and then we expect submission from people we see as, our subordinates or inferiors. This is the blueprint for how so many of our workplaces, our social hierarchies, even our families are structured. But here's the thing. As logical as that blueprint might seem on the surface, it just doesn't work. I mean, look at history. We've been following these rules for centuries, and where has it gotten us? It certainly hasn't led to lasting peace or harmony. So that really forces us to ask a tough question. What if the whole blueprint is just fundamentally flawed? And this really gets to the heart of the problem, right? The whole point of this system is supposed to be order and peace. That's the expected result. But what do we actually get? Just unending crisis. That huge gap between what we expect and what actually happens is a massive red flag. It's telling us that something is seriously wrong with our most basic assumptions about how we're all supposed to get along. So, where did we get it so wrong? Well, according to the source material we're exploring, the problem isn't just our social rules. It's something way, way deeper. It's about our complete misunderstanding of the very nature of words themselves. Yeah, you heard that right. And that's where we're going to find the key to this whole puzzle. We usually think of words as just sounds, right? Empty little vessels that we pour our own meaning into. But what if that's not how it works at all? What if words are more like keys? Keys that are perfectly designed to fit into pre-existing locks, concepts that already exist, each with its own built-in power and specific effect. Now, this is the core idea, and it comes from this quote from the Grail message. It says, "Every word formed by man has come into being under the pressure of higher laws, and, according to its application, must manifest formatively in a very definite way." So what does that actually mean? It means the concepts behind the words like respect or love already exist out there in creation. They're governed by fixed, unchangeable laws. When we invent a word, all we're doing is putting a label on one of these powerful pre-existing concepts. And because of that, how we use that word triggers a very specific built-in effect that we can't change. Okay, so with that idea in mind, let's put this new lens on and take another look at our two words, starting with respect. What happens if we stop thinking of it as just a social tool we use to manage relationships and instead see it as a concept with its own inherent spiritual properties? Well, its meaning completely transforms. From this point of view, real respect has absolutely nothing to do with someone's status or whether you see them as an equal. Nothing. It's all about recognizing the unique abilities or the potential in another person and having a genuine readiness to learn from them. It's about that balanced give and take, a true appreciation for what they bring to the table. And when we use respect in this way, we're actually working with its natural built-in properties. We're tapping into what this source calls the law of balance, that give and take, and the law of love, which is all about fostering growth. When it's genuine, it literally releases a blessing, a positive and constructive power. But what happens when we fake it? When we just pretend to respect someone? Well, we misuse that inherent power, and it does the opposite. It creates distrust, resentment, and real harm. All right, now for the word that has been twisted the most, submission. This is where that flawed blueprint we talked about has probably caused the most chaos. Why? Because we've been trying to apply a concept to human beings that, according to this perspective, is completely unnatural for us. I mean, think about how we normally view submission. It's all about control, right? It's built on the idea of inequality. It's used to justify one person or group stifling the individual will and the creative spirit of another. This is the model that runs so many of our hierarchies, and it's the polar opposite of encouraging growth. And this is where we get the really mind-blowing idea from the source. It says, submission is a quality that lies solely in the animistic, Get this? It argues that submission belongs to the animal world. It's totally natural for, say, a loyal dog to submit to its owner. But for the human spirit, which is defined by its free will, true submission to another person is literally impossible. Our spiritual DNA just doesn't have it. So follow that thought to its logical conclusion. If we demand submission from another human being, we're asking them to do something they are spiritually incapable of doing. It's an impossible ask. So any attempt to obey can only ever be artificial. It's a performance. And that performance leads to one of two things. Either self-delusion, where they trick themselves into thinking it's real, or straight-up hypocrisy. It can never, ever be genuine. And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. You can see the real-world results of using these concepts the right way and the wrong way all around you. The evidence is pretty stark once you know what you're looking for. The contrast is just incredible. Take a field like genuine science, where the goal is simply the pursuit of truth. What happens there? True ability is recognized and respected no matter who it comes from. And the result? Consistent, amazing progress. Now, flip that. Look at the arenas where forced submission is the name of the game. Politics, so many social structures, even many religious organizations. What do you see? Exactly what we'd predict. Constant conflict, disharmony, and that hypocrisy we were just talking about. So at the end of the day, these words are not just empty sounds. They are packed with inherent power. And by totally misapplying the concept of submission where it doesn't belong on other people, and by faking respect, we've basically unleashed a force for chaos into our world. Harmony can only happen when we start using these powerful concepts the way they were meant to be used. Okay, so this brings up a really important question. If demanding submission from other people is fundamentally wrong, does that mean the concept has no place in human life at all? Well, the source says, yes, it does have a place, but it's a place that is incredibly empowering, not controlling. And here it is. This is the new blueprint. The only rightful and natural submission for a human being is not to another person, another institution, or another ideology. It is to consciously align our own will with the immutable laws of creation. You know, the laws of nature, of physics, the spiritual laws that govern everything. It's about choosing to work with how the universe actually operates, not against it. And when you do this, the results are incredible. First, by submitting your will to these natural laws, you find true balance and harmony in your life. That harmony then creates the perfect environment for your own personal development and growth to just flourish. And from there, you can begin to really understand and experience what love is, not just as a fleeting emotion, but as a powerful creative force that underpins everything. So I want to leave you with a question to think about. Just imagine for a second. Your daily life, your job, your relationships. What is one thing that could change if you decided consciously to apply true respect to every single person you meet, looking for their potential while practicing submission only to those higher harmonious laws? It's a pretty powerful thought, isn't it? And maybe, just maybe, it holds the key to a very different and much more peaceful world. Thanks so much for joining me.